FA fam, welcome in. It is week 1 of the playoffs. Hopefully your week is off to a good week. Hopefully you had a good start between the Thursday and Saturday games. Had some good football yesterday, Kev. Had some exciting games. So hopefully that continues into the rest of the week. Any questions you have, go ahead and drop them in. We'll start getting to the ones that we have already. We got Porter leading us off. Watson or Juju at the flex?
I think I would go with Juju here.
I think I would as well. I get the concern, right? Is that the Chiefs just jump out to a massive lead early on. I mean, they're 14.5 point favorites on the road, nonetheless. And then Patty doesn't have to throw. They pull the starters in like the third quarter or something. But I mean, compare that to the total in that Green Bay game sitting at 39.5. If the Chiefs are gonna, win by 14.5, they got to get there somewhere somehow. They got to rack up points. So I would go Juju as well. Smitty or Marquise?
It's gonna be Devonta Smith.
Devonta Smith for me as well, with Colt McCoy and going up against a tough defense on top of that. We got a 3-parter here. Keenan, Amon-Ra, or Terry? I'm going Keenan on that one. Better quarterback, smash matchup. Like, like Amon-Ra is not going to see the toughest matchups going up against the Jets secondary since he's primarily in the slot. But that matchup for Keenan is just chef's kiss. Goff on the road.
So something I found interesting with this is with Amon-Ra St. Brown is that the Jets are actually one of the best teams in the league versus the slot. They've actually allowed the 4th fewest, I think, fantasy points versus the slot. 4th fewest, 8.1 fantasy points per game allowed versus the slot, which is the 4th fewest in the league. Only the Patriots, Steelers, and the Bengals are ahead of them in terms of fantasy points allowed. So it's actually not a great matchup for him. I've actually dropped him down. I have him down at wide receiver 17 this week.
Okay.
I don't think it's a great matchup. I don't think game script is really going to support it. It's on the road.
Yeah.
And so I don't expect to see the same type of scoring that we see, at Ford Field. And so I think it's a little bit more of a run heavy type script. And so Jets defense has been really, really good this year. And so I do not expect the Amon-Ra St. Brown. And when he doesn't score a touchdown, he kind of limits his ceiling a little bit. They have a lot of pass catchers that are now healthy. And so, I just don't think this is the best spot for him. And so I would agree. I would go Keenan Allen.
ER already played Diggs, but between 3 receivers, Watson, Judy, or Juju?
I would go with Juju Smith-Schuster here. I think Judy obviously gets a bump with no Cortland Sutton, no Kendall Hinton in this game.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a bunch of, but at the same time, you're talking about Rippon versus, Russell Wilson. So even though Russell hasn't been great this year, it's still a downgrade. And so, and the Cardinals have actually done a really good job of limiting opposing wide receiver ones this year. And so I think he's a okay play, but I would rather go with Juju.
Yeah, for sure. Kenneth Lee, half PPR pick 2. Etienne, Foreman, Knight, and Monty.
That's going to be Etienne and Zonovan Knight for me.
It's Knight for me as well. And it's between Etienne and Foreman. Foreman just because we've seen in the games with the Panthers when they're favored or if it's a close game, Foreman has gotten 20, 24, 25 carries, right? Going up against the Steelers team, who, especially in the past like 3 or 4 weeks, has not done well against running backs. Like the Ravens just put up what, over 200 rushing yards against them just last week or the week last week. But man,
I just think it's a really, really good game script for Zonovan Knight. And I know I've seen some stuff. Me and Debro have talked this out this week with Zonovan Knight. And, that if you look, like, I think since week 10, they've allowed like the second fewest fantasy points to running backs. But a lot of that is no context behind that because they've been in a lot of really, really good game scripts. They get out early, they build a quick lead on teams, and it really forces teams away from being able to run the ball. Because on the season, they've only been have the ninth fewest rushing attempts against, but they are top 15 in rushing yards allowed, and they're top 5 in rushing touchdowns allowed to running backs. And we just saw Zonovan Knight last week against a really good run defense and the Bills. Have himself a pretty nice game. He's involved in the passing game. I don't have to really worry about him being involved. Where, like, the thing that frustrates me with Foreman is we saw last week, and they were ahead all that the entire game. That was a perfect game script for Deonta Foreman, and we were seeing, the other two running backs also mixing in and him not getting as much touches as I thought he would have got, because I felt the same way about Foreman last week. And so he's very touchdown dependent in my book. He's not involved in the passing game. And so that's just where I lean towards him. And David Montgomery, I just can't do it against the Philadelphia Eagles and that team. So they're going to have nobody. They don't have Chase Claypool, obviously no Darnell Mooney. It feels like it's going to be Justin Fields just running for his life.
yeah. Like I said, it was between Knight was not a question. ETN and Foreman is kind of where I was going back and forth and kind of just talking that out to myself. We did see Chuba Hubbard more involved last week for the Panthers, so I will go ETN there. Just had to hash that out with myself. Neagle, another ETN question here: Swift or Travis?
I'm gonna go with ETN.
Is Justin Jackson out? I thought I saw the acute tag.
He was questionable. I know that, but I don't.
Wait, change things for me.
Yeah, he's still questionable, but I mean, I don't know.
I know.
If it was a different option, maybe you consider it, but I just can't. Like, I'm not going to play that game with DeAndre Swift this week, especially against a defense like the Jets, who are very good. Maybe he's more involved in the passing game this week than he was last week, but it was so promising that he was what? It was the week before, he was 50%, played snaps. Last week, he went right back down to his normal 28, 30% snap share. It's just super frustrating with him.
Yeah. Really odd. Justin Jackson isn't showing up on the Lions injury report. Like, he's not on there at all. But he's still listed as questionable. Interesting. I've never seen that before. Yeah, super frustrating. But I think it's way easier to trust ETN. And then second one here for Brandon: Kirk or Olave at the flex?
I'm gonna go with Kirk.
Let's go. Kirk for me as well. Jackie Moon. Probably a dumb question for PPR, but Aaron Jones or Pacheco. And I don't think it's dumb.
No, not with how good the Rams have been against the run. I would go Pacheco, actually. I know it seems crazy to sit Aaron Jones, but I like this game script a lot for Isaiah Pacheco against Houston. Going against the Rams, it's They have been a very good defense against the run this year, and I know it is at home for Green Bay. He's going to have to get there probably through the air. It is PPR. It's close, but I do have Pacheco ranked ahead. I have Pacheco at RB 14, and I have Aaron Jones at RB 16.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going Pacheco there. Just for everything you laid out, I just think it's a better game script for Pacheco. Now, granted, the Rams, when it comes to PPR specifically, I mean, they are fifth in rush DVOA on the year. When it comes to receiving work, the Rams have given up the 12th most receiving yards to running backs at 506. But, I mean, Pacheco could easily have 100 plus yards and two scores, right? With how this game is setting up. So I'm with you. Good luck to you, Mr. Moon. Pacheco it is. Robert rock with us. Good to see Robert back in here. Full PPR. We need one receiver and a flex between these names. We have Zay Jones, Marquise, Slayton, Rashad, Foreman, or Stevenson. And it does seem like Stevenson is going to play in that in their game today. And Damian Harris has been downgraded to either out or doubtful, but it doesn't look good for Damian Harris. So one wide receiver here: Zay Jones, Hollywood, Slayton. Who are you going with there?
Go with Zay Jones.
Whew. I'm gonna go Zay as well, and then we need a flex out of those names and adding in those running backs.
It's going to be Stevenson. If he plays, I'm going to play him, and we'll know for sure because they both play at the same time. So it's not like you're going to you're forced to make a decision now. So they both play at 3 o'clock. So you're going to know if Stevenson's active. If he's active, I'm playing him. Against the Raiders, yes. If he's good enough to go, I'm going to play him. There's going to be no Damian Harris there. We know he gets involved heavily in the passing game. I like Rashad White a lot today as well. That would be my other choice, but I can't. I'm not sitting Ramondre Stevenson in what could be a just smash match. I mean, he's a top 7 or 8 running back this week.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would actually pivot to Slayton over Rashad White if Stevenson doesn't go, but I think Stevenson plays. It's nice to have that, especially with those injury questions. It's nice that you have so many options to pick from, like in the later games, like where this isn't a situation like where you're like, man, do I just plug in this guy at one because I don't have anyone else to go? It's nice to have those options, especially on playoff weekend. Hi guys, need two wide receivers in a PPR: Amonra, Lamb, or Mike Will. Already started Lockett. Oh boy, this is a nice group to choose from.
So Lamb and Mike Williams.
I'm with you. Yeah, it feels gross. Doesn't feel right to sit Amonra, especially in a full PPR. But like you were talking about earlier, it just doesn't set up great. They like I said, we have Goff on the road who has not been good, going up against the Jets defense, which has been stout to say the least. AP, Najee or Terry at the flex.
I think I would go Terry.
I'm going Terry as well. Andrea, have a bye this week. Let's go. Just popping into flex. Love to
Hey,
see it.
yeah, absolutely. Make sure though you're looking ahead to next week. It's such a huge advantage to have that bye. To like, I would be looking at everything. Like, is your defense for next week? Your
Yeah.
stuff like that. Adding players that maybe that you may that could possibly get hurt before today, like a handcuff option. Like you have nothing to play for right this week, so you're already locked into next week. It's a good time to like be aggressive with waivers and going ahead and pre-add players that maybe like I said, if something happens to them, today, you don't even have to worry about waivers because you're not worried about you're not worried about this week. So it's a good position to be in.
And especially if you can like have an idea depending on your opponents and kind of who's projected to win. If there's like something like that they need next week and you have that spot, you can kind of block them, kind of play that game. But only do that if you have the ability to like drop somebody and that sort of thing. I wouldn't load up on defenses just for the sake of it and drop someone useful. But if you can kind of play that game a little bit, something I would, or if it's a situation like a quarterback, say somebody had to pick up like Tyler Huntley or something, they might be looking at the waivers. I mean, if you have the luxury to do that, that's also something I would look at. Suck up or Balek.
I'd go suck up.
Yeah. Brandon rocking with us over on Bookface, Najee or Latavius.
I'm not playing Latavius Murray. I'll go Najee.
Yeah, I want to go Najee as well. So Najee, Terry, or Zonovan.
I would still go Terry.
Yeah, me too. Tobias Funke, Swift, Jamal Williams, or Chris Moore. Here's a group, baby. I think I'm going Swift here. Full PPR, like I don't know, man. I don't want to chase Chris Moore's points from last week. I don't.
I don't either. But I mean, Brandon Cooks isn't playing, right? I confirmed.
Yeah, Cooks, and Collins.
I know
out.
Nico's out, but yeah. It is tough though because like who else they got to throw the ball to? Game script, even if it's garbage time. I mean, he could get there. It's just.
I know.
But you're right. I mean, really trusting Chris Moore is really a hard pill to swallow, especially when you have DeAndre Swift, who should be better, but hasn't been. I think Swift is a safer option, but I think Chris Moore probably has a higher ceiling, as crazy as that sounds.
It does sound crazy, but it's not wrong. I will say, if you want to feel a little bit better about this, even though the Jets have been good against just a good defense across the board, they have given up the 13th most receiving yards and the 14th most receptions to running backs. They've only given up one touchdown through the air, but just something to help you feel a little bit better with that one. I would go Swift, and if and it's this is also something crazy to say that I did not have on my fantasy football bingo card. If Justin Jackson is out or limited, that helps. Like I can't even get through that sentence, Kev. The fact that like, oh, hey, if Justin Jackson's out, that helps out DeAndre Swift, as if Swift is some fourth on the depth chart running back. Wild. Josh Palmer or Marquise Hollywood Brown?
This I would go Hollywood Brown. I mean, Colt McCoy is an adequate, backup. Like he's not great, but he's not like he's kind of not going to kill you either. And so I don't mind him. Like he's okay, but it's just not a very good matchup against a really good Denver defense.
Right.
But Palmer, is at a good spot, but he's also now like the fourth or fifth option with all those guys back. So he's a little bit harder to trust. He's still gonna get targets and stuff like that, but I think it's easier to project Marquise Brown probably for 7 or 8 targets, where I think you look at Palmer probably coming in around the 4 or 5 spot. So
I think I would go Palmer. I just think he has a higher upside in this spot, even with being third or fourth in the pecking order. Like I'd rather hitch my wagon to Justin Herbert in this just dream spot going up against Tennessee's defense, who has not been good against the pass at all. Elite against the run, really good against the run. And now they have a bunch of injuries in the secondary as well, along with some of their edge rushers. So Herbert's going to have time. I think I'd rather just take the dart throw on Palmer. But I get what you're saying about. I think it probably is easier to project and maybe safer with Hollywood, but I think it would just go Palmer in this spot. Good luck to you, Porter. Hope you make the right decision. Mini Jordan 718, full PPR, wide receiver, and a flex between Van Jeff, Chark, Moore, Tutu, Benny, Aguilar, and Ramondre.
So Ramondre in the flex, for sure. And then it comes down to this lovely group.
I think I would go Aguilar.
Probably. If Jacoby Myers was out, it would have been a slam dunk. Aguilar.
Yeah.
Devontae Parker is out, so that helps.
Correct. And Aguilar has spent more time on the outside than in the slot overall.
Right. I was just thinking if Jacoby Myers was out, he likely would have been the guy that went into the slot. So, I would probably go Aguilar, but I do think Chris Moore, I think, is somebody you could look at too, especially with this group. I mean, I know Skoranek had that big game last week out of the nowhere, and that one, but I mean, the Packers have a much better secondary than what the Raiders do, so I wouldn't expect all that.
Yeah.
That's the way I would play it.
Looking ahead to next week, have something you were just talking about with the Cowboys playing the Eagles in Week 16. Would you start them regardless, or stay Chargers versus Indy, or Titans versus Texans?
I don't think I'd want to play the Eagles next week against the Cowboys. I think I'd rather play the Chargers. And really, if the Chargers are available, you probably could just pick them up, play them this week, and play them next week. Then, because I don't mind playing the Chargers against the Titans.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to play. I was going back and forth between which defense there, because although the Titans have been cheeks against the pass, it's not like we really have to. We don't have to worry about anything with the Texans, and we know they're not going to be able to run the ball. Dameon Pierce pour one out, put on IR, so his season is over. So they're looking at Rex Burke. I think next week I would go with the Titans over the Chargers. Yeah, that's what I would do. Uzi. Good to see Uzi in here. Good to see some familiar faces. Hope you guys are having a great year. Let's get some dubs and advance. Looking at Judy, Garrett Wilson, or Pacheco. We need to sit one.
I'm going to sit Judy.
Sitting Judy as well. Sucks we have to deal with Zach Wilson instead of our Lord, our knight in shining armor, Mike White. But going Wilson over Judy. Oh, already got this one from CB. Yeah, we already have that one. Appreciate you, Jackie Moon. Stevenson or Swift PPR flex here for Luis. Stevenson for me as well. ETN, Jamal Stevenson, or Pierre Strong.
Pierre Strong isn't really that great of a thing anymore now that Stevenson's out, so he's off the list. It's Stevenson and ETN.
Mega Brick What's going on? Terrell, Slayton, Gallup, Stevenson in a PPR. I'm assuming we need one.
Yeah, if it's only one, it's going to be Ramondre.
Perry, we need to flex 2 here. Okay, I see. Smitty, London, or a running back that we didn't pick. So I would go Smith. I think Smith and ETN is what I would do here. I just have no idea what to expect out of Desmond Ritter today for Drake London.
Oh, okay, I see now. He only needed one running back, an RB number 2. So yeah, that would have been Stevenson. Happy we clarified that. And then flex 2 would be ETN, and Devonta Smith. I actually really like Drake London today, but I'm not playing. So it would have been different if Dallas Goedert would have been active this week and been playing. Devonta Smith, I think you bumped down a little bit, but with him out, it's the targets are so concentrated between AJ Brown and Devonta Smith. Elite matchup. So yeah, I mean both of them are in great spots today. And then we already talked about the running back spot. So
full PPR, we need 3: Kirk, Judy, Foreman, DJ Moore, Lazard, and Chark.
So Kirk,
locking in Kirk.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna go Judy and Lazard. The DJ Moore is so damn interesting, but he's just I have not gotten a DJ Moore spot right. I feel like this year at all. Like every time I'm on him, he's terrible. When I'm not on him, he goes off.
You had that the first Darnold week, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I guess like that. 4. Yeah, you did have that one. I'm gonna go Kirk, Foreman, and Lazard. I know last week was disappointing with Foreman, but I don't see, especially with the Steelers starting Mitch Trubisky, they're not going to jump out to a lead. I don't think Carolina's going to be within striking distance. They're not going to have to abandon the run. So I think even with that, Foreman still sees 15 carries at a minimum. And with DJ Moore, he's banged up. The Steelers defense has been improving. So that's going to be Kirk, Foreman, and Lazard for me. Clamped, Herbert or Fields? I'm going to go Herbert.
As much as it pains me, because I mean, Justin Fields has been my guy all year, all offseason, really. I remember the debates with Robbie, how Justin Fields wasn't going to be that good this year.
Well, it was looking bad for you for a while.
For the first month, it was not looking promising. But then since that point, that dude's been an a QB1 every week.
He's probably been an RB1 too.
Well, that too, yeah. So he's been fantastic, and he really wasn't even bad last week. The last time he played against Green Bay, he was RB5 on that, or again RB5, QB5 on that game with 21 fantasy points. So, but I'm going to go with Herbert. Great matchup against the Titans. Titans are you do not run against them. You throw against them. They are like top 3 or 4 in passer rate over expected on the year as well. He's averaging like 44 or 45 pass attempts per game. So it's Justin Herbert, especially with all their weapons back. I'm not sitting Justin Herbert in this matchup.
Yeah. Chav, Juwan Johnson or Otten?
I'm going to go with Juwan Johnson.
I'm going to go Johnson as well. I want to see.
But what I will say is I really like this Bucks Bengals game. It opened at a 44. It has now been bet up over the last just like 2 days to 47. And because the Bengals are missing a lot of their a few of their defensive players. Hendricks is out.
Hendricks is a big one.
Mike Hilton is out, and so they're missing a lot of pieces there. So that game could actually have some shootout potential. The problem with Otten is that Cameron Brate is still there. And so he's going to be harder to trust. And now, not that Juwan Johnson doesn't have other pieces there to mess with him, but I mean, he was playing really well prior to his injury. Great matchup against Atlanta. I would I would lean towards Juwan Johnson.
Samesies. Otten has been really hard to trust whenever Brait has been. You really only want to play Otten when Brait is out. Trey, good morning, gents. Good morning to you. Full PPR start 1, Judy, Boyd, or White?
Rachaad White. Because I'm damn sure not playing 2 Broncos together.
No.
So Dulcich is in a great spot. The last time Rippon started, he actually saw 9 targets in that game. So should be good for Dulcich. Really like him. Good matchup. And we know that the Cardinals are one of the worst teams against opposing tight ends. I mean, they have allowed everybody to go off on them. So Dulcich, great spot. So yeah, I'm not playing 2 of the Broncos. So that's Rachaad White.
No, I was. Boyd is interesting just because Hurst is out.
Right. It's just.
But I will go White.
Yeah. Did we already answer that? Oh, we did. That was the one I Ramondre Stevenson. Oh, we already got that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I just want to. Oh wait, it looks like Chris Moore was added to the group. But
it's still Stevenson.
Yeah. Flexing the PPR here for CB: Amon-Ra, Lazard, McKinnon, Monty Foreman.
This one you're gonna you go Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah. Fractal Rain. Full PPR, and we need 2 in the flex between Watson, Zonovan, Marquise, Slayton, Okonkwo. Thanks.
So Christian Watson for me and Zonovan Knight.
That's where I'm going as well. I do like Slayton in this spot. Washington's run defense has been really good. So I think Barkley struggles. And Barkley, frankly, unless he scores a touchdown, hasn't been good over like the past 4 or 5 weeks. And obviously this matchup is not set up well for him. I do like Slayton, but I want to go Watson and Knight. Michael Flynn, can you trust Higgins today? I think trust is a strong word, but the fact that he was limited all week and then got in a full practice on Friday is a good sign. And then Mike saying the only other option at this point would be Evan Ingram. And yeah, I'm not sitting Higgins for Evan Ingram. I've been on the Evan Ingram bandwagon all year. It feels like I've been talking about him every single week as a streaming option at tight end. Obviously had that massive explosion game last week, but I can't do that.
Yeah, I'm not sitting T. Higgins. I get it, especially what happened last week, but yeah. I think he's fine.
Kmet, Dulcich, or Okonkwo?
Dulcich.
Greg the Leg, Dicker the Kicker, or Boswell?
I'm going to go with the kicker.
Going Dicker?
Yep.
Would you drop Danny Dimes or Brady?
I mean, I'm dropping Danny Dimes. I get it. It's sad that that's where we're at, right? Like, but yeah, I would rather have Brady, especially this week. Love this matchup.
Yeah. Nelson Aguilar over Christian Kirk?
No.
Would not do that either. CHB, number 1 team in the list for Lickens in the house. Walito fears CHB. What should I do about Ramondre? I have a bunch of backups here. I mean, if Ramondre is active, I'm playing him.
Yeah, and if he weren't, then I would go Pierre Strong. But you don't have to worry about that because you're in a good spot. So, yeah, I would go Ramondre.
Yeah. Vic's dog daycare. Just disrespectful. Over there on Twitch, pick 2 to full PPR. Need a boom. As my team sold yesterday. Kamara, Stevenson, Pacheco. Ooh.
Oh, that's good. Shouldn't be, but it's still good. I'm gonna go Kamara and Stevenson.
Golly. I will go Kamara and Pacheco. Just because I like, if Stevenson were fully healthy, if we had no injury worries with him at all, it's Stevenson, Kamara, lock him in, and that's what I'm going with. But like, if he doesn't get like the full complement of snaps, if they work, because obviously Harris had a decent game, Pierre Strong had a decent game. Like, if they work those other guys in a little bit more instead of Stevenson just being like the no question workhorse with Harris out, like that would just give me a little bit of pause. And it sucks because that sets up as a really nice matchup for Stevenson. But I'm going to go Kamara and Pacheco. Delusional Tanner, Rashad White, or Zonovan Knight? It's going to be Zonovan for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Wilson or Higgins? I'm going Higgins.
Yeah, I'll go Higgins. It's sad. It shouldn't be. It should have been a smash matchup for Garrett Wilson. We're super excited. I'm not putting any faith in Zach Wilson to do anything here, and that's what worries me the most. If this was Mike White, Garrett Wilson smash. I mean, he would be a top 10 wide receiver this week, but without him, it's really hard to trust anything that Zach Wilson does. So it's T. Higgins.
Yeah, agreed. Did you see the quote from Salah as well, saying like he expects a few things to crop up for for Zach Wilson?
I don't know why they just don't go with Joe Flacco. Like I
don't.
like he played fine in the early part of the season, whatever everything's going on. Like I think you can expect him not to make any mistake, like probably any dumb mistakes. Game manager, great defense at home. Like it feels like it's such a better spot for Joe Flacco. Like why would you not go with him? But yeah, you're going to go with Zach Wilson, who's just been dreadful. Like I don't know, frustrating.
I want to find this quote just because I've never seen anything like this. So Zach had a good week of practice. His mechanics are much better, but I do expect a few things to crop up today. I told him don't overthink it, just go out and play. Like I have never seen I've never seen a coach be like, yeah, I do expect him to fuck up. I do expect him to suck at some points, but hey, like I I have never seen that. Walito must be watching a Super Bowl rerun. That's cool. Which one are we watching? Matt Ryan versus the Patriots. We just going. We watching that.
Which is
It's
funny
funny.
actually that you bring that up because yesterday's game, Matt Ryan now holds both losses to the biggest comebacks in NFL history. So against the Vikings yesterday, and then the Patriots the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That game was fucking wild.
Yeah.
But you could see it coming. Like in the second half, once they scored those first 2 touchdowns, like okay, they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose this. Because they were playing. I mean, it really was the Vikings that were being themselves because the Colts never did anything offensively. I mean, everything was underneath. It was all. I think they hit one chunk play to Jelani Woods. I think that 35-yard. But once Jonathan Taylor went down, which was weird in itself, but like everything was underneath. It was all short passes, short A-dot passes to Michael Pittman. Um, I mean, great for people who had Pittman in PPR formats because they just peppered him with 1 yard, passes,
Yeah.
and that's how he got there. Because I think he had 10 catches for 60 yards, and then he also had that's what it was, and then 30. He had 30 rushing yards. So, but it was just obvious that it was coming. That because as soon as they scored a couple touchdowns, the momentum shifted, and the Colts did nothing at all. Like, hey, maybe try to throw the ball down the field once. I don't know. Maybe see if that works. But that was embarrassing to lose that game.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say about the World Cup that there's a better out there with a 7-leg parlay on the line in this game that'll turn $26 into over half a mil if France beats Argentina on a 7-leg parlay.
My God, I would be that. That's a hell of a sweat.
Yes, and obviously getting nothing if France were to lose. Sean, 2 running backs in a flex and full PPR: Ramondre, Kamara, ETN, Pacheco, Smitty, and Zay.
I want to go the first two, Ramondre and Kamara. So you're gonna go Kamara and Pacheco?
I'm not going to have to answer that because I'm just going to flex I'm going to go with the 3 running backs with Ramondre, Kamara, and Pacheco.
I'm gonna flex Devonta Smith. That's who I'd flex. It's close between Pacheco and Smith, but I would go Devonta Smith.
Hey, Sean, who are your what wide receivers are you starting? Just out of curiosity, just to see if we can get some uh, consensus here on your answer. And just another, I shared this in the Discord, but just another fun little bet thing here. But this one going in the opposite way. Did you see the one that I shared, Kev? That there was a better on PointsBet that wagered $1,800 on the Colts money line at halftime. That was at minus 20,000 odds. The bet would have won $9.
Why? What are you doing? It makes no sense. Like, what are you doing? Hell, bet 500 on the Vikings. I mean, I'm sure that would have,
Yeah.
to win $9. Like, were you drunk and just be like, haha, this will be fun. I'll win $9. Be a funny joke.
Yeah. That must have been that. I didn't think of that, but that must be that's the only thing that makes sense to me, to be quite honest. Like, I don't know. And speaking
You
of the
deserve
Discord,
to lose the money if that's what happened.
100%. You deserve to lose the money regardless. Like, what is that? Like, I don't know. Like, if you're betting $1,800, like, do you really need that $9 to like pad your account? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I know there's bettors out there who will put money down on like minus 300, minus 500. Really looking at it as kind of like free money, so to speak. But at minus 20 to win 9, what anyway? Yeah, there's a reason why Smitty is in the flex consideration with those two. I'm still going to go the 3 running backs. Kev's going to go with Smith over Pacheco. I like Smith as well. It just feels like Pacheco's just I think Pacheco's safer for sure. JHG, what are we feeling? Zay or Foreman in the flex and a half PPR?
Give me Zay Jones for me.
No worries with the Cowboys outside corners. Like, I think Kirk is completely fine.
No, I mean he just sees so many targets. I mean actually him and Kirk have become like identical. Like everything about them is identical. Like targets, average up the target, air yards, market share of air yards. Like they're identical across the board. Like I think this is a really good spot for Zay. I'm personally playing a lot of Zay Jones today in DraftKings along with Christian Kirk, but so I like Zay a lot. Foreman, it's just he could be a good play today. Obviously, matchup and everything should be there, but Pittsburgh has been pretty decent against the run, especially now they got T.J. Watt back. That game just feels super gross to me. So I would rather play Zay Jones.
Got it. Who are you playing at quarterback in those stacks? Are you going Lawrence?
Um, well, no, I don't. I'm not playing them together. I just have I'm playing
Okay.
a ton of Dak. So and then running it back with either Zay Jones or Christian Kirk.
Got it. Crab gravy. Got another flex coming in here. First round bye. Let's go. Can't wait to see you next week. Crab, Hollywood or Foreman PPR.
Marquise Brown.
I'm gonna go Deonta Foreman on this one. Just in case you're just joining in now. I just don't like that matchup and the way that game sets up um, for Arizona. Colt McCoy going up against Denver's defense. The targets have been there for Hollywood. He just hasn't been super efficient with them over the past couple weeks, even with Kyler in there. But I think Foreman is the safer option. The best center, must-win week for me to go to the playoffs. Good. We don't have to hash out the thoughts on the Week 18 playoffs. Anyway, let's help best center. Let's get him there. One wide receiver in flex. Jamal, Swift, McLaurin, Kirk, Pacheco, and Watson. It's going to be Kirk and Pacheco for me.
I'm gonna go Kirk and Pacheco.
Good luck to you, best center. Hope to see you here next week. Hope you're in the playoffs. Jose over on Facebook, sit one. Elliott, Connor, or Knight.
I'm gonna sit Zeke.
We're not going to be of any help, Jose, because I'm going to sit Connor. Like, I get it with Connor. He's probably in line for 20 plus touches, right? Especially with Colt McCoy back there. He's been getting receiving work as well. But I just don't want to mess with that. Like I said, and I know Denver's run defense has gotten progressively worse as the season has gone on. They were looking pretty strong there the first couple weeks. I think they're now up to kind of like a middling team when it comes to run defense. But Zeke has been looking good. I don't want to sit Knight, so I'm going to sit Connor.
Yeah, I come in. I mean, so for me, it's more just about projected workload. Like I think, like both of them. Like Zeke is splitting touches with Pollard. Yes, it's a decent matchup. Yes, he's going to get goal line work. But with Connor, there's really nobody else there that's going to take away. We pretty much saw him last week with pretty much. I mean, it was all Colt McCoy in that game, and he was just he's going to be the man. He's going to see probably 78%, 80% of the projected workload there. I can't say the same for Zeke. And so it's close between the two of them, but I would just go with Connor, especially his involvement in the passing game.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just prefer Zeke's matchup a little bit more. Jay Rosa, Chris Moore over Lazard or Hollywood.
So annoying.
Just shining too bright, man. Spotlight is always on Kev Steele. I would not, Joseph. I would start Lazard and Hollywood over Chris Moore. Even with all the poor things I was just saying about Arizona, I'm still going Hollywood over Chris Moore.
Yeah, I agree.
The blurb. ETN, Evans, Judy, or Zonovan at flex numero dos this week. RB1 and 2, Cook and Henry. I start with Cook. Henry's in a smash matchup. Wide receiver 1 and 2, Monra and D-Hop, flex league. Kamara in one spot. This is the flex number 2. I'm going to go Mike Evans.
I agree.
Boom.
Off to a good start too. Already played Dalvin Cook. He was great.
Yeah.
So Henry's in a great spot. Wide receiver. Wait a second. So, because I think if it was me, I think I would. Would you consider sitting St. Brown, playing Mike Evans, and then going with ETN or Zonovan, or would you rather play Amon-Ra over both of those?
I'd rather play Amon-Ra over both of them.
Because I think I would probably, just based purely on matchups and everything, I would probably sit Amon-Ra, play Mike Evans, and then play Travis Etienne. I think is the way that I would handle it. But I get it. I think probably the safer route is probably still starting Amon-Ra.
So then you would play Etienne over Kamara?
No, I would still play Kamara. I'm assuming he has 2 flexes, right?
Yeah, this is for the second flex spot.
Right.
So if you sit Amon-Ra and you put in Evans, that's still, you know what I mean?
Yeah, his wide receiver 1 and 2.
Right.
Yeah. So I would put Mike Evans in there, and then I would play ETN over Amon-Ra St. Brown and then second flex.
But there's no. We're answering the question for the second flex. So wide receiver 1 and 2. If you took out Amon-Ra and you put it in Evans, that doesn't do anything for the other. Because Cook's already locked in, Henry's locked in.
Right. But if you took Amon-Ra St. Brown out and put in Mike Evans, Amon-Ra St. Brown would just go into the flex pool of players you could play at the number 2 flex. Because you're not playing Amon-Ra St. Brown. So then it would be ETN, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Judy, or Zonovan.
Or
Kamari's already playing.
Okay.
Because it's 2 flexes. I'm like, what am I? I'm pretty sure I'm not crazy here with what I'm saying.
Either way, I'm not changing anything, Blurpy. Whoever's right here.
I'm pretty sure I'm right. Chat, let me know. Who's right? Yeah. Just put K or C. Because I feel like I'm right, and the way that I'm reading this, that what I'm saying. Now, maybe the answer I'm giving may not be correct, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Hopefully Christian does something in the TFA listener league, because we have been very poor in any TFA exposure in our listener league. So
you know what we need to do next year? We need to do a best ball. That's what we need to do. Make it best ball. Because we could do one through Underdog, and so we could do an underdog league. I think that'd be fun. Maybe make it like $5 or $10, so there's a little something there. See, Blurpy agreed. Yeah, you're right. I can just take out Amon-Ra.
No, I just can't take out.
Oh wait. So who's right? So I'm wrong? It reads perfectly to me. Like, I don't know how that wouldn't be right. I don't know how I was wrong. I don't know how I could be wrong on that. Because if you're playing both, anyways, we spent too much time. Okay, yeah, just don't take out. Just listen to Cody. I think Cody's idea was better anyways, because mine was more fringe anyway. So let's just go there. But I'm pretty sure I'm right. I don't know how I could be wrong. Like how you couldn't take out Amon-Ra St. Brown, play Mike Evans at wide receiver, and then you'd still have him in the group.
So Blurpy's not saying either of us are right. Blurpy's just saying personally would not play Evans over Amon-Ra.
Okay. And that makes sense. Like I said, if you look at how Amon-Ra St. Brown, obviously it's a super risky play. So probably in this spot in the playoffs, it's probably not the smartest move to sit Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's just not a great matchup for him. But he still could see, it's still possible he could see 15 targets, bring in 7 or 8 of them PPR. So it makes sense. So he
Our
could take him out. So I thought. Okay, so I was right, but he's not doing it. Let's move past it.
Our favorite German rocking with us once again. Really appreciate the super chat. We need one wide receiver, one flex, and a full PPR. Zonovan Knight. Sorry, the B got me thrown off. We're sticking with Zonovan here. Zonovan is a better name than Bam. Like Bam could be a cool nickname, but not when your actual name is Zonovan. Zonovan Knight, B Rob, Fournette, Evans, Chris Moore, Chark, Myers, Renfro. So we need one wide receiver and flex out of that group. So let's start there before we get to the tight ends.
We go Mike Evans.
Mm-hmm. And I know it's been ugly with Mike Evans, but he's just been missing. Like the targets and everything are still there. He's just been missing the past couple of weeks. So yes, Evans for me. And at the flex.
This is tough because this is a lot of options here that I like because I really like Jacoby Myers. The Raiders are terrible against the slot.
That's where I'm going.
I think they allow it's like a 9% touchdown rate or something crazy like that versus the slot this year. But it is tough because I do like Zonovan Knight. I think he's in the same bucket. Brian Robinson's in a good spot as well. And Fournette, I mean, you never know with that situation. There's a lot of good options here. But I think I would go Mike Evans and Jacoby Myers.
That's where I am going as well. TB.
Do we answer the tight end?
Yeah, geez. Forgot about that. Conklin, Henry, or Juwan?
You know what? Maybe because I don't want to play both Patriots, so maybe I would go Zonovan Knight and Hunter because Hunter Henry's also in a really good spot as well against the Raiders. Raiders are bad against tight ends. Or maybe, go Jacoby. Let's go Jacoby. I think he's more easier projectable in volume. He could easily see 12 targets, where I don't think Hunter Henry probably gets that. And then let's go Juwan Johnson. It's just with Conklin, he's tough to trust with Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
It's a really good spot against the Lions.
Great spot.
But again, it's trusting Zach Wilson, that is not a thing that I will do or put any sort of American dollars on or German. What is there? They call them? Is it Franks? Is that right?
You're the world traveler. I've been out of the country once, so.
Oh, I've never been to Germany. I've been all over Europe, but I've never been to Germany.
Good luck to you, Chris. Back to Tony. Last minute swap options: Swift or Zonovan Knight?
I'm going Zonovan Knight.
God, I am too, but I'll put it this way: I like Swift, and I think even if Swift does outscore Zonovan, it's not by some vast margin, right? So I don't think that's going to come down to if you win or lose this week. So I'm going to go Zonovan and then Olave or Watson.
I'm going to go Olave.
Golly. I'll go Olave as well. That one's close for me. That one's really close. Lazard or Hollywood for Jay Rosa?
Lazard.
Lazard for me as well. Mr. Put It in Reverse himself. Brady, Tanny, or Danny Dimes?
Brady.
Yeah. Bench St. Brown for Judy?
No.
I would not.
Put in reverse.
Put in reverse. For sure. Tried last week. It didn't work. Not falling for it again. Mike Full PPR, we need 2 Evans, Williams, Keenan, or T.
What if that really was his name though? Like, what if that's actually his name?
Well, then I would go by Michael.
um, Mike Williams. Man, this is a. I get why he's asking a question.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna go Mike Williams and Mike Evans.
Oh, I did not see that one coming. I'm just gonna log. I'm putting in both Chargers.
I just don't love it from like a ceiling perspective of like what you can realistically expect. Like, because like, so if Mike Williams goes off, it's very much like you would think of it in like DFS terms. Like, because if Mike Williams goes off, it's going to be very hard for Keenan Allen to also go off. Um, and and so I was reading what he said. um, but so because if he gets there, it's through long touchdown passes. You know, it's probably through a long touchdown pass, stuff like that. But it limits, some of the ceiling that Keenan Allen brings. Um, so that's what would worry me. So like they don't really correlate well together. And so I would go Mike Williams, and then I would choose from the other ones. And then it's still really close between T Higgins and Mike Evans because those are also both really good plays today. Like I would love to play all three if we could, but apparently we can't. And so if I had to, I'm gonna go Mike Evans just because I really like the matchup for Mike Evans, and he's a big game is coming for him, and it feels like this is the game. Everything aligns that way. The Bengals are missing a lot of their key pieces on that defense as well, and so where I could see Jamar Chase and all, going off like T Higgins, I think, should be fine. But I'm going to rock Mike Evans, especially in the playoffs. He could drop 30 today. So,
Yeah, I just think that when you're talking about like what's the ceiling, like I think both Chargers receivers could go 100 yards and score. Like I don't think that's out of the range of possibilities at all for either of them. So that's why I'm like I just like the matchup, the overall game script. Um, we know we have a pretty concentrated target tree or target share rather with those two. So that's where I would go. Mike, if you don't want to start both, I would go in a full PPR. I would slightly lean Keenan over Mike, and then I would go Keenan and Evans. But like Mike Williams is right there for me, which is why I just want to start both. I have both of them ranked above those other two options this week. Tight end Everett, Higby, or Johnson.
um, I'm going to go Gerald Everett.
Would you still go Everett if you're starting with what you were just saying about limiting the upside, assuming it's for the same team?
No, because so again, it's more of but for this, it correlates because we're just talking about 1 week, one game. Correlation wise, if usually what we tend to see is tight ends go with, if a quarterback's going to go off, you tend to see that through where so you would want to play the quarterback with the tight end and whatever other pass catcher you're going to do with. He's playing Herbert. Always same team playing Herbert this week too. So in that, I would never want to. I don't like. I would much rather play the tight end with them than the two wide receivers. And the Titans are actually not very good against tight end as well. Ever since they lost David Long, um, he was somebody that was very good against opposing tight ends. But since he's been out, that has really hurt the Titans. And so I am personally playing a lot of Justin Herbert stacks this week, and all of them have either Eckler, Williams, or Williams and Gerald Everett. I'm not playing any with Keenan Allen just because they don't correlate well, like together. I have some with also with Keenan Allen without Mike Williams, but
Speaking of Mike Williams, Mike Will, Pacheco, Kamara, or Zonovan. And I'm going Mike Will there.
yeah,
A smidge over Kamara.
no, I would go Kamara. Sorry, I would go Kamara.
I really like the spot that Kamara's in. But I like Mike Wills just a touch, a tidbit more. We need 2 here for the one and only, the great, the OG Walito. I'm going to go the first 2 with Aguilar and Slayton.
I'm gonna go Chris Moore and Slayton.
Glock guy. Mike Will and St. Brown over Hopkins and Higgins. I'm assuming this is a matchup question, Glock guy, and not start sit. Like, are we picking the pair that we like better? Because, yes, I would prefer Mike Will and St. Brown.
I agree.
Zeke Pacheco, Ramondre.
Ramondre.
I would go Pacheco, but Ramondre is close. Zeke is the third option here for sure. Mark, full PPR, Hopkins or Judy. I'm going to go Hopkins.
Agreed.
Najee Pacheco, Judy. I'm going to go Pacheco.
I agree.
Boom. There you have it. If you guys want to jump in, ask any more questions, here is the Discord link. You can go ahead and jump in there. I got to get rolling. I know Kev has some DFS tinkering to do as well. We will be live tonight for the first look at waivers for next week. Hope all of you guys crush your matchups. Hope you all win. Hope to see you all here again next week. Let's do it.